Pro Rally, and today we go to the desert, the high desert of the Angeles National Forest. The roads here are unlike any of the other stops in the series. Tight, twisty, with washouts and rocks that can literally tear a car apart. Just ask Paul Schwanier about it last year. He barely made it back to the service area after losing a rear wheel, suspension, and all. Henry Joy won here last year. He's back to defend the title. Also returning all the way from Japan, Hiroyuki Genta in his Subaru Impreza. He has experience and is looking for a win.
We're in the high desert of Palmdale, California for round 2 of the 1998 championship. We're here for the Subaru Rim of the World SCCA Pro Rally. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and El Nino has definitely had an effect on today's race. Heavy rains have washed out sections of the course, leaving exposed rocks. Race officials have been forced to change the route on 4 of the stages. And if that wasn't enough, there is news off the track as well. Our current points leader in the open division, Paul Schwanier, will not compete today. After round 1, he sustained a rib injury while at home, and to make matters worse, this week he came down with the flu. Instead, it'll be John Buffum behind the wheel of the Hyundai. You'll do anything to get out of working with this microphone, won't you?
Right. I figured even driving a rim is better than the microphone.
This is going to be tough. I mean, I went over some of these roads. The washouts are, I mean, this is more like off-road. You need to jack the suspension up.
Yeah, we always run the suspension a bit high here, but I'm hoping for cooler weather because, honestly, I'm out of practice at this sort of thing. And when it's 90 degrees out here and the roads are, as you know, are really twisty, it's very difficult, very hard on the driver.
Well, despite the challenge, this Afena tracks a huge field. 44 cars will leave the line and head into the desert. But first on the schedule, a demonstration stage to give the fans a show. It also gives the teams a chance to do a quick shakedown while the service trucks are nearby. You guys don't mind getting the car a little dirty, even if it doesn't count to the final standings, because they find out the weak link. You get a chance to fix it. Now, as the racers make their way up into the mountains for the start, why don't we take a look at the course? Now, during the first night of action, the route will take them through the mountains of the Angeles National Forest on 3 stages run twice. Then, when the sun rises, they head north to run the ridges on 7 more twisty mountain stages. The total, a bone-shaking 291 miles. First on the road, last year's winner, Henry Joy. He knows these roads as well as anyone and will be fast on this, the only semi-paved stage of the event. On board, Henry told us before the race what it's like to be first off.
There are a lot of rocks out there, and it's going to be rough. But everybody's going to go through the same stuff. We're just going to have to see it first. It's not going to really affect us in any way in that.
Well, what will affect him and everyone else on the race course is the fog. There's nothing wrong with your television set. In the mountains, the weather is not cooperating, and the higher they climb, look at this, the worse it gets. It's not going to be easy for anyone, including our television cameraman. Carl Merrill is next up. He'll run directly into it. Keep in mind that there are 1,000-foot drop-offs on one side of this road, a cliff on the other. You can only push so hard. Whoa! Merrill sliding. He knows the first stage is not the place to try to win the event. John Buffum up now, subbing for Paul Schwanier. Let's go on board using only the cornering lights. He's not liking the conditions either. Let's listen in.
If it's like this, they need to stop the rally now.
To the left.
I'm trying,
right.
yeah, thanks.
He can't even see the road, folks. Hiroyuki Genta is next up in the Subaru Impreza. We've got an onboard camera with Hiroyuki also, and you're going to see how bad the visibility is. The camera can barely see the road. He's moving, appears to be catching someone. Those are brake lights up in front. In fact, it is Buffum. And it does not look like Buffum's going very fast. In fact, he's signaling he's not going to defend the position in this mess. Now, from Buffum's view, that's Somerville behind Genta and Rui Brazil behind him. Genta's pulling a freight train through the fog, and everyone's latched onto him. Up ahead, Carl Merrill is still taking it safe and slow, but right behind him is this oncoming freight train. So now the question is, does Carl Merrill want to pick up the pace and be the first in front, or is he going to be the follower? And it looks like he's going to let Genta take the lead. In fact, now the problem is he can't get back in line. In fact, Buffum's even joined this parade. So if you can't beat them, join them and let the first guy be the first one off the edge. Just hope you don't follow. Now, as they come to the finish of the stage, it's amazing. Genta leads Somerville, Brazil, Buffum, and Merrill. And I guarantee you will not see a finish like this again for a very long time. The organizers say enough is enough, and wisely, they're shortening the evening session. Tomorrow will have to be much better than this. Back at the service area, everyone makes it off the mountain safely. One man has made a big impression on a bad night.
Well, we started the first stage, and it seemed okay. We're gonna have a little bit of fog or clouds, and then the clouds just came in so much. You couldn't drive 30 miles an hour, perhaps. The Japanese driver Genta went extremely well.
They put 2 minutes on us, and I mean, just amazing. I don't know how they did it. Couldn't see more than 3 feet for the whole stage.
And he was fast, very fast through the fog, and I followed him, and because of that, I'm told I'm like in second place now, so worked out well.
Well, it's no wonder that Genta's smiling. Not bad for the Subaru team. He pulls nearly a minute on Somerville with Joy beating him, and Buffum, no fan of fog, behind all of them. We'll see daylight when we come back.
I notice you're sitting a little funny.
Well, my wallet's pretty thick. I carry a lot of credit cards.
Wow, why so many?
Well, this one's for work, this one's for emergencies. It's got a really high limit. This one I got because it's got clout. This one's got a pretty cool hologram. And all the others I was pre-approved for, so I figured, why not?
Well, now you can make that wallet a little thinner and your bank account a little fatter.
Oh, yeah? I'm listening. Yeah, I'm leaning.
Replace all those cards with the Bank One Platinum Visa card. One card with a low introductory rate of just 3.9%. No annual fee and a credit limit from $5,000 up to $100,000.
That's great. I'm paying around 18% on these cards.
Transfer the balances of those higher rate cards to our low 3.9% introductory rate and you'll really save.
Wow.
After 6 months, it's an affordable 12.99% fixed annual percentage rate. You'll also get a year-end summary of your charges, collision coverage on your rental car, and emergency airline ticket replacement.
That's great.
Call now and this versatile Monarch expandable portfolio, a $74 value, is free with your first purchase or balance transfer.
Well, let me get this straight. The Bank One Platinum Visa card's got a credit limit up to $100,000. I don't need that card. It's platinum? Talk about clout. It keeps track of all my expenses. It's great for work. And with a low rate, I don't need any of these. Wow, check out the wallet now. Very nice.
And you'll feel even better after you see your monthly statement. At 3.9%, the Bank One Platinum Visa could save you hundreds of dollars in interest.
No annual fee, low rate, better posture. I'm calling Bank One.
Call now to apply for your Bank One Platinum Visa card. Get an introductory 3.9% APR, credit limit up to $100,000, no annual fee, and this versatile Monarch portfolio free with your first purchase or balance transfer. Call 1-800-336-6219. That's 1-800-336-6219.
Pro Rally event is being brought to you by Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive, and by Vermont Sports Car, when you're ready to win, and by the Sports Car Club of America, bringing you 25 years of Pro Rally excitement. All the way from Kyoto, Japan, the Subaru team will be starting with a 55-second advantage, but Henry Joy will be first out on the road as they line up for the start of Stage 7. If these guys are as good in the sunshine as they were in the fog last night, look out. Joy pulls it up, and he is not going to waste any time. This is the first time the drivers will get a great look in the daylight at just how bad the roads really are. And you can see that the rains have come to this part of the world, even with more fog expected today. Henry is not too worried about starting first.
First on the road being an FIA-seated driver, even though we're third overall in the rally. We're going to go out in the fog and battle it. The roads are slippery, so it's going to be tough for everybody. It's an equalizer. Even though we're sweeping the road, it's not really going to affect the way we go after today.
And that's the big question you have to ask yourself. What is the proper pace? You don't want to break the car, but you also don't want to go so slow that everybody catches you. And you can see already that Joy has lost the rear bumper because of the ruts, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down at this part of the race. John Buffum next on the road. He'll be working to make up over 2 minutes. If anyone can do it, of course, the legend John Buffum can. This guy has won the series 11 times. He built this car for Paul Schwinnier and looks right at home behind the wheel. If anyone can make it look easy, John Buffum will do it. Buffum, without the fog, obviously looking fast and very smooth. Next up on the road, it's going to be Carl Merrill. Despite a tough night, his car is solid. He seems to be holding up well. This is the kind of stage that he really likes.
I mean, Delstar I have always liked. I hope it's not too rough to really go fast. You need a lot of power on Delstar, and I think that's going to be my advantage.
With 400 horsepower, he has the biggest advantage in the field here if he can get all that power down to the road. The Subaru team, Hiroyuki Jetta behind the wheel, next off the line, and it doesn't look like he's coasting. Catches a little air through the wash there, pushing it as hard as he can. One of the biggest challenges at the rim is the narrow roads, the washouts, the option for sliding the car even fewer. Look at it, using the bank as well. And if you don't like the view or you're a little acrophobic, well, don't look to the right, because if you go off here, it's several thousand feet straight down. You get a better look as the helicopter gives you that view. I mean, you're gone if you go off. Well, now we finally get a look at David Somerville from Jamaica without all the fog. He finished third in our first U.S. rally last month in Washington, and he is already running second here. Now, this guy is very serious about pro rally racing. In fact, he doesn't mind being fifth on the road. He says, let the other guys find all the rocks.
Well, we're going to be fifth on the road, which I think is going to be an advantage, because from what I see, it's pretty rough, and I hope the first couple of cars will sweep the track. We're going to attack today. I hope to try and improve even on the second position.
And he may be able to do just that. Now, to get an idea, we're going to delay Henry Joy on the bottom to match them up at the end of the stage. Both are driving carefully at this early stage in the event, but as they come to the finish, Somerville is 12 seconds quicker on the stage. That is not bad for his first time here. Trouble on the road, however, for John Buffum, and he is out of the race.
The cross member broke. The welds on the cross member broke. We went down, had a good time on the way down. We didn't feel that we were abusing the car, although the stage was obviously rough, where we were going over it at a speed that I thought was reasonable. And then partway through, coming back on the reverse run, we could hear a squeak in the back, and obviously something was going on. But we kept going at a slightly subdued pace, and then it finally broke altogether 3 miles from the end.
So take a look at the standings here at the Subaru Rim of the World. Genta maintains his lead. Somerville and Joy are both closing in, and Merrill is making up time. A lot more left. Stay with us.
There are lots of things that make your kids sick you can't do anything about. And then there's one you can. If you can't quit smoking around the kids.
What's new about Annabelle's? They've got the same great staff, the same great atmosphere, the same great service. The Southwest Sizzlin' Fajitas are still famously flavorful. The daily specials are still very special indeed. The soups, salads, beef, and pasta will put a smile on your face. So what's new about Annabelle's? Absolutely nothing. Isn't that great? Come see today. We're still at our same location, Annabelle's of Asheville, in the Asheville Mall.
This weekend, NHRA in the homestretch, Friday at 5:30. The race is on. Toyota Atlantic Series, Saturday at 4:30. If it moves fast, looks cool, and wins races, it's on ESPN2. NASCAR Winston Cup Happy Hour, Saturday night at 12:30. All kinds of racing, all weekend long. The race is on ESPN2.
We're back at the Subaru Rim of the World SCCA Pro Rally.
One of the drivers doing the limited schedule this year is Henry Joy. And Henry, one of the things I wanted to ask you about the right-hand drive. I mean, we Americans aren't used to this.
We're not used to it in America, driving right-hand drive, but I'm used to it on the farm. We have tractors where you sit in the middle and other vehicles that are right-hand drive just for working in the field. So it's just an extension of me. I don't ever reach to the window and try and shift that. I know the gear lever's in the middle, so I go with my left hand.
And go is what he's doing right now as we get stage 9 underway on top of Henry's car. Here we begin the tightest, twistiest section of the race. You can see the ditches don't leave any room for error. Look at some of these ruts. The washouts are incredible. And if that weren't enough on this particular mountain, we have fog returning. It's a lot better in the daytime, though, but it will keep speeds down again, at least for this stage. Going back down the mountain, the fog is lifted, but not the right foot of Henry Joy. He's coming to the finish. 16:32 for this stage. That's a pretty good clip. Carl Merrill makes his way through the fog. Looks even thicker now than when Henry Joy came through just a few minutes ago. He makes it over, pushing hard the time. As he crosses the stage line, 16:35, just 3 seconds slower. Just behind them, David Somerville getting up to speed. As we go on board, you can see the difficulty that these guys have. The roads are just not wide enough to slide the car, so you have to end up clipping the corners. Makes it hard on the car and harder on the driver. Now, the fog looks a bit lighter at this time, but it's still out there. And as Somerville comes down the hill, we'll watch for the clock to stop. He'll finish in 16:40. These guys are running the stage close. Hiroyuki Genta now in the Subaru, and let's go on board. You can see the concentration, the effort it takes to go fast. You want to talk about a little arm pump? Try doing that for 300 miles. Looks like he's having a little trouble getting all the power to the road. A lot of wheel spin now that it's been torn up a bit. On board now for the finish. Watch for that mark coming up. 16:48, just a bit slower. So Henry Joy is the fastest on this stage. Over in the production GT class, Lee Shadbolt is having a great run in his Subaru Impreza. Came out of the fog last night leading the class and has been steadily pulling ahead since. Let's go on board. Oh, and you can see he's caught Dennis Chisma, and Chisma's kind enough to let him by because passing, as you can see, would be very difficult if he wanted to challenge that position. Back in the open class, Henry Joy is reporting only rear wheel drive. That's a bad sign, and yeah, you can see, whoa, getting real tail happy. Trouble for Henry Joy. Oh, now this doesn't sound good. He is slowing, and the transmission, well, this car is in a very precarious position. It looks like he may be out. Carl Merrill is pushing, and he gets it sideways. Now, either that's a missed instruction or he was just too hot. And has been steadily pulling ahead since. Let's go on board. Oh, and you can see he's caught Dennis Chisma, and Chisma's kind enough to let him by because passing, as you can see, would be very difficult if he wanted to challenge that position. Back in the open class, Henry Joy is reporting only rear wheel drive. That's a bad sign, and yeah, you can see, whoa, getting real tail happy. Trouble for Henry Joy. Oh, now this doesn't sound good. He is slowing, and the transmission, well, this car is in a very precarious position. It looks like he may be out. Carl Merrill is pushing, and he gets it sideways. Now, either that's a missed instruction or he was just too hot, because the road does go in two directions there. Back with Henry Joy, he stopped, and there goes Carl. Tough break for the defending champion of the event. Genta in the Subaru comes up the hill into the intersection. Whoop, same problem. Slows down. There must be a confusing note in the route book giving these guys the same problem. But that's all part of rally racing. Somerville, his co-driver, Chris Griffin. They've been here before. No delay for them. Experience pays off in this case. On board now, and they can see they just passed Henry Joy. He's out. That's got to give them a new reason to push. One less threat for the victory. You can almost hear him pick up the pace.
It's a lot of work. I'm boss, sweating in here, out of breath, but interesting, and you have to be careful. If you miss one little thing, you could be out, and I can see it happening. I know Henry Joy is out. I see that he's seemed to have damaged a diff or something. I smelled oil coming up. So.
The Subaru team is holding on to the lead, but it is not easy. We had a chance to talk to Genta through his interpreter.
It was very rough and very bumpy, so very difficult to drive, very tough roads.
So with Henry Joy out, Carl Merrill moves to third. Look at the rest of the field. Ralph Cosmides in Group 5 has got competition from Peterson and Yardaval. Stay with us.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone zone.
Gordon, right?
Yes. Have you ever worked with anything high-tech?
No.
Thank you for the resume.
But we're looking for someone with
More education.
Some experience.
Good luck to you.
What you don't know can hurt you. So let ITT Tech help. Call 1-800-942-0099 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-942-0099.
Next. How about we give this year's honorary degree to the guy who invented the cheesehead?
I like that.
Oh, are you kidding me? What about the guys in New Orleans?
The Aints?
No.
How about this one? How about the Hogettes?
Hogettes? Hey. The jumper, the guy who jumped out of the stands for the field goal? That's what I'm talking about.
You know, I'm going to have to stick with the cheeseheads. NFL Countdown, Sundays at 11, Mondays at 6:30 on ESPN.
These are our home jerseys, and these are our away jerseys. And if we ever get invaded by the planet Zoltar, this is what we'll wear. But hopefully that's not going to happen.
The Sports Car Club of America is your ticket to the pit lane and the fast lane. If you'd like SCCA membership information, call this toll-free number, 1-800-972-6662.
This week in Rally Dirt, we look at how you can get involved in the sport.
One of the great things about Pro Rally is you don't have to have $1 million to get involved in the sport. Now, sure, you can spend some big dough on the pricey hardware that we see in the open class, but you can get the same kind of thrills without the big bank book in some of the other divisions. One of the easiest classes to prepare a car for is the Production GT class. One of the guys who got involved in the sport just last year at the national level, Lee Shadbolt, in your Subaru Impreza.
Yes, the car that you see here is basically a factory Subaru Impreza. And if you look inside, you'll see the roll cage, which is one of the safety features that are required for racing. And also we have some seats that are a little more comfortable during the rocky rides that we have. There's a fire extinguisher system in the car. And the only other modifications we're allowed to do are suspension and also skid plating for the underside of the car to protect it.
Now, the one thing you have to remember is this is at the national level, but there are divisional races as well. And all you have to do to get involved is contact your local chapter of the SCCA.
So as we get back to the racing, stage 11, Henry Joy is now out. Carl Merrill will be first to take the road, and he's very happy to be in that position in this race of attrition.
Henry just blew a transmission, and we got by him, and so we're moving up because of attrition, I guess. That's a bad way to do it, but I'll take it any way I can get it.
Hey, don't apologize, Carl. Everybody knew how tough this race course was going to be, and you have to pace yourself to make it to the finish line. Now, here he comes to the end of the stage at 14:59. Not bad. Hiroyuki Genta next on the road. Talk about a tough commute. This team brings the car and service crew all the way from Kyoto, Japan for these events. So you know he is very serious about racing here in the U.S. Oh, well, there goes the onboard camera system. Obviously, he's using every inch of the road. The stage has a bit of everything. It starts out twisty, then it opens up so you can build up some speed, and just when you think it's going to be a little easier, whoops, tightens back up at the end with a little air thrown in. 14:39, 20 seconds faster. You talk about being serious. David Somerville next on the road, looking to narrow the gap. This guy came to the U.S. with the idea of just doing a couple of events, but he finished third last time out. Now he's going to run the series, and he's going to post a time of 14:47 for the stage. That's nice work. Over in Group 5, a real dogfight going on with the two-wheel drive. Ralph Cosmides able to get his twin-turbo car repaired after flipping in the last event. He's making up for lost time here. He has been turning in times right up with the open class cars, but he is facing stiff competition, catching some air. Lon Peterson, he has won here before, is just seconds behind. And after a couple of hundred miles, and even with an older car, he is still a serious threat. Also knocking on the door, Carl Yardeval. He took the class win in Washington, and he is pushing it here. Almost pushed a little too hard. Remember, you push too far. Whoa! He could have gone off the edge there. Back at the service area, the rear-wheel drive guys assess the situation. Yardeval is not having an easy time of it.
Well, we had a little bit of problem on the Del Sur coming back, and the rear suspension pieces came out of its bracket, so we had to kind of baby the car a little bit up till now, but I think we have enough time to get the problem taken care of.
Ralph Cosmides' biggest problem is the mud and the competition.
Right now we have about a minute lead with 2 stages left. We've been giving up some time, last few stages, taking it easy, making sure we can get to the end, but it's time to start picking it up again, so we're going to start going a little quicker, and we hope to be there at the end.
Hiroyuki Genta hangs on to the lead. The gap is closing. In Group 5, seconds separate Cosmides, Yardeval, and Peterson. Just 2 stages remain to decide the battle, and the leading Subaru team is ready.
Yeah, no problem, car is okay. Little rough and tough, but it's okay, same as Japan. Yeah.
Somerville's team is getting ready for the final push as well.
The car has been going great. We've put on some new tires for the last 2 in an effort to have the best traction possible. And we're going as hard as we can.
Who has enough to win? We'll find out when we come back.
Welcome, Dave. Been a long time.
Sure has, Red.
You got a spicy chicken sandwich, but here, try this.
Not bad.
Water?
No, thanks. Ooh. Now try a Wendy's spicy chicken.
Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich is the whole breast fillet seasoned with Dave's own blend of pepper and spices. It's one very delicious, very spicy sandwich.
Please.
Oh. Try Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich and long live the king.
I invested in the Associate's Degree program at ITT Technical Institute for a career in computer-aided drafting. The skills I received at ITT Tech gave me the basics I needed to succeed. I've had 3 promotions in just 3 years, and I'm now a project engineer. The name ITT Tech was a big factor. I really love my position and the responsibilities that go with it. Thanks, ITT.
ITT Technical Institute, 1-800-942-0099.
Whether it's on the network or the net, it's ESPN. Log on to ESPN.com. It's your gateway to sports on the internet. Get a total fix anytime you log on. Plus, read Vitale, Gammons, Mortensen. Get scores, updates, breaking news, and get smart fast. ESPN.com. Log on today.
Today's Speed World event is being brought to you by Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive. And by Vermont Sports Car, when you're ready to win. And by Sports Car Club of America, bringing you 25 years of pro rally excitement. Hiroyuki Genta leaves the line on stage 13. He is trying to hold his 30-second lead, and you can see he's going to push it hard. We go on board, rough road, and it looks like there may be a problem ahead. Yes, that's Yardeval. That's relief for Ralph Cosmides, but means nothing to Genta. Genta comes to the finish line in a total time of 2 hours, 19 seconds. That's now the mark to beat. David Somerville will try it. It's going to be a tough task. After 2 days of driving, you need all your concentration.
We're 30 seconds behind, and we're still planning to try and pull it off and end up in first. We have 2 stages left. We'll be going flat as hard as we can in an effort to take back the lead.
Coming through the last few turns. Whoa! Getting it out there. Do you think he wants to win? Here comes the clock. 1:59.59. He made up the 30 seconds. An incredible drive in the dark. Somerville and Chris Griffin taste the champagne.
We kind of just decided the last 2 stages, no matter what, second wasn't going to be good enough. We had to put everything in, and it worked out. It paid off. We were flying. I didn't know how we got down the hill or up the hill, but we got there. And it turned out real great.
Jen's Subaru team does not look too disappointed despite a last-minute computer glitch.
During the stage, we have a problem about the computers, but he could finish the stage, so we are very happy. Thank you.
Is there a new star rising in Pro Rally? David Somerville with a third and now his first win. As we take a look at the points, he's now the man to beat. Schwanier and Merrill very close. In GT, Lee Shadbolt takes the win and the points lead in his Subaru.
We went up conservative rate and came down quick, and that was basically what it took to clinch it.
Well, that's going to do it for us. The action, however, is going to continue as we head to Pennsylvania for the Susquehannock Trail SCCA Pro Rally, June 30th, 6:30 here on The Deuce. I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for being with us. 70 cars are entered there. That's going to be a great one. We'll see you next time that we go SCCA Pro Rally Racing. SCCA Pro Rally is back. Today we're in the Tioga Forests of Pennsylvania. Last year, Carl Merrill triumphed over the fast gravel to take the victory. He's back today to try and make it 2 in a row. Henry Joy had a bad day last year. He gets into the notoriously hard banks, and then it goes from bad to worse. With damaged steering, it put him into the bank again. His day was over, and he will sit it out today.